So, I guess things aren't going too good for Disney and Ms. Zegler. The most hated movie ever. Or the most disliked movie ever. I might just have to get a cord for this. Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it don't. Get over and follow the Critical Drinker. Tell him Tyrone Magnus sent you.
You did it! Congratulations! Great job, everybody! It's great to meet you.
You know, I have to admit that I didn't think it was possible. The skeptic in me said it could never be done, and yet somehow Snow White always finds a way to subvert my expectations. That's right, just a couple of days ago, the official's trailer for Snow White passed the epic milestone of 1 million dislikes. And with a grand total of 40,000 upvotes, that gives it a ratio of 96% dislikes, becoming officially the most hated movie trailer in all of YouTube history.
Actually, I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
And remember, YouTube is the biggest platform in the world. It is mainstream. It is what most people watch in this world. Let you know how we feel. Disney, you need to do better, Disney.
I mean, they always said this movie was going to break records, and life has a funny way of delivering when you least expect it. Honestly, I'm actually just amazed that 40,000...
How do you do that to the first movie to set Disney in motion like that? It planted that flag on animated history. The first full-length animated movie, right? Beautifully animated. I mean, I was watching it the other day with Scarlo, and I was like, yo, this is like really well animated. She's like, yeah, this is good. I mean, one of my favorite parts is when the evil queen is going down the steps and the whole cape at the top. I was like, wow. So they really put some effort into that way back then. All the way they had to do animation back then.
And people took a look at this and thought to themselves, yeah, this is definitely enriching the art of modern cinema. Can't wait to shell out a couple of $100 to see this with the family. Tell me, what aspect of this movie are you most excited about? Is it the nightmarish monstrosities in vaguely humanoid form that can't seem to decide if they want to be hyper-stylized, exaggerated cartoons, or photorealistic humans with dwarfism, and instead chose some unholy melding of the two that makes you question your decision to have functioning eyeballs? Is it the tediously predictable...
You know, it's funny that the dwarves don't bother me. The only thing that bothers me about it is that, if I didn't know the whole backstory of this movie, I'm fine with it. And I'm still kind of fine with it. But what bothers me about it is that they were supposed to be real dwarves. Until Peter Dinklage opened his mouth and kicked the ladder out for everybody else. There's 7 dwarfs, 7 real people dwarves that could have had an acting job here that now don't. And I feel bad for them, I really do.
Well, princess who saves herself.
And you know Hornswoggle would have been in there because he's famous. So you know he'd have been one of them.
That's been used and abused harder than Movie Bob's local buffet restaurant. Is it the least believable pairing in cinema history that sees this woman being jealous of this woman's theoretical beauty? Is it the film's star who somehow managed to fight her way to the very top to take the critical beauty?
I thought that was really funny that he used this shot at her. I guess in the movie, she's not as fair. It's not beauty. It's, whatever. But it's just a funny joke. I've seen pictures of her all glammed up where she actually looks really good. But her personality is one of the most grating things I've ever come across in entertainment history. Like, there are certain celebrities over the years that have really irritated people. And I can't think of anyone that has irritated people more than her. I'm trying to. Maybe there are, but I just can't think of anyone that has drawn so much hatred to herself as her.
Is it the film's star who somehow managed to fight her way to the very top to take the crown as the most insufferable actor in Hollywood, beating off some pretty stiff competition?
Yes. Yes.
Or is it perhaps the complete destruction of everything the original movie and the fairy tale it was based on was supposed to represent? So many decisions. You know, living in this little YouTube bubble like we do, it's easy to forget that a lot of what we talk about here doesn't really cross over into mainstream awareness. The Ray movies ditched its lead writer for like the 5th time? Who cares? General audiences won't even be aware of little dramas like that. Generic Hollywood celebrity number 4271.
Well, they will now because of us, because we talk about it. And YouTube is what? Mainstream. Most people in the world watch what? YouTube.
Had a meltdown on social media about the Orange Man for like the 5th time this week. So what? Most people in the real world won't know or care about any of it. But Snow White seems...
Hey, Drinker. You need to do better, Drinker. Next time, I need to see the whole clip. Really?
to be a very different beast. It might just be one of those rare cases that makes the leap from lol cow internet drama into the real world, with actual real world repercussions at the box office. I mean, if 1 million people took a look at that YouTube trailer and decided they hated it, imagine how many millions more are just going to quietly ignore the film and never watch it. I'll be honest here, I don't think I've ever seen such antagonism towards a film in my life. Jesus, even The Marvels, arguably the most disastrous flop in MCU history, headed up by one of the most wildly unpopular characters in the entire franchise, still managed to scrape together a 54% positive...
Yeah, and she was the most irritating, at least by Marvel fans, until Rachel Zegler, and they were still able to do that.
Rating on the trailer, even Cleopatra, truly the worst of the worst, the ridiculous Netflix pseudo-documentary that asked us to ignore facts, verified historical records, and simple common sense in favor of massaging the ego of the show's executive producer.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Still managed to get away with a meager 93% dislike ratio. Snow White really is a next-level disaster for Disney, and honestly, short of scrapping the entire project and just taking the tax write-off, I can't even think of a way they could pull this one back and save face.
By the way, you know why that was such a big thing for Black people? Or at least that talking point was important in her talking about that. It's because, for those of you that don't know, for years, Hollywood whitewashed everybody. Yeah, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Native Americans, Black people in history, like everybody was white. So, I think Liz Taylor might have played Cleopatra at one point. Liz Taylor's white. So, you know, with people trying to overturn things, you know what I mean, and tell the truth about history, you know, I understand there's some, you know, arguments going on with Cleopatra, whether she was black or not. And I guess it's my understanding that she was Greek, whatever. But the point is, people have thought certain people were this or that at different times in history. But the point is that because so much whitewashing was going on then, of course, her grandmother, if at the time a lot of people or scholars might have thought that she was black, they're going to tell her, look, no matter what they tell you, she's black. Okay, you seeing this white woman play her on the television screen, just, you know what I mean? Because it was a point of truth and pride in Black people being part of certain things in history, you know, and telling the truth about that, you know, rather than dealing with the whitewashing. So it was a different time, you get what I'm saying, on that. So whether she was or wasn't, the point was good in nature, that she was trying to teach her proper history. Because listen, even when I was growing up, I had heard that Cleopatra was black. And I thought it for a long time, in the back of my head. Like, Cleopatra doesn't come to the forefront of my memories. You know what I mean? I don't think about Cleopatra at all, but that was one of the things that I was told. I think I was even told it in school. So, I don't know. They need to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, they tell you that butter is good for you, and then they tell you margarine is best for you, then they find out margarine is bad for you, and then they tell you the butter. You know what I'm saying? So people flip-flop on their facts. It happens, pretty frequently in history and in life, period. So it is what it is. But just to understand that, it's not just black people trying to take something for themselves or blackwash it. You know what I'm saying?
Ace. They've already delayed the film by more than a year, probably praying that the controversies would die down while they desperately scramble to rewrite and reshoot it into something that doesn't make the audience want to gouge their own eyes out with a rusty spoon. They put Rachel Zegler on the apology tour to try and soften her public image, and she used every ounce of her acting ability to pretend that she really liked and respected the original movie, and that she wasn't just an obnoxious, abrasive, self-absorbed arsehole. None of it worked, and so here we are, staring down...
She wished that Trump and his supporters had no peace. Peace. No peace.
The barrel of Snow White's release date, which is barely 7 weeks away. The board's been set, the pieces are in place, and it's about time to play the game.
It's going to depend on my mood whether I go to see this or not. I really don't know if I feel like going.
And something tells
and come
me
on
it's
now,
not
huh?
going to be an enjoyable one for Disney. It will be for us, though. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Post your comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts on this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers. Woo! I hope it's off the woke we go. I hope.